Today's episode was a great reminder from Cherie D, who said, "Can you share some reflection and lessons you've learned from last year?" The great thing about life is there's always lessons. And if we listen and are open to learning from them, that, in my opinion, is the key. It also dictates the quality and direction of our life. When we search for the opportunity inside of the challenges and the problems we encounter, I find that miracles follow. So quiet down, pay attention, listen, and act. Like many of you in our Millionaire Insider community, you likely have made some great decisions over the last year and some that you can improve upon. That, my friends, is the key. So today I'm going to share some of mine, just in the effort to provide you with some insight, reflections on the last year, my great and not so great choices. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm Annette Bau, host of the Wealth Inside and Out podcast and founder of the Millionaire Insider. My mission is to help you simplify the money game so you can create a financially secure and fulfilled life without having to have a PhD or spend countless hours on your finances. You're going to learn how to think like a millionaire, stop worrying about money and wondering if your financial house is truly in order, and instead spend your time doing what you love. With over 3 decades advising 7, 8, and even 9-figure millionaires, and now joining that elite group, I'm in a unique position to help you make the best financial choices so you can create a secure financial future and retirement you love. This is the Wealth Inside and Out podcast. To access your free financial checkup, you can go to themillionaireinsider.com/FC. If you need help on your next best step to secure your financial future and create a retirement you love, you're going to love this checkup. Again, themillionaireinsider.com/FC. Today's free guide is our residual income guide. You can go to themillionaireinsider.com/RIG. One of the most important decisions I made that literally changed the trajectory of my life was creating residual income streams. You do the work once, you get paid over and over again. This guide provides the ins and outs of creating residual income streams. So I encourage you to make creating your own residual and passive income streams a part of your New Year resolution. You're going to be so glad you did. Again, you can download the guide at themillionaireinsider.com/RIG. For today's show notes, you can go to themillionaireinsider.com/89. All materials and intellectual property are copywritten by themillionaireseries.com. This information is for educational purposes only, is not intended to replace any advisor or specialist or to provide investment, financial, tax, retirement planning, or healthcare advice. Number one of the things I did really well was saving money. I wanted to have a significant amount of money, specifically cash on hand, because we're building this major home. I also wanted cash on hand just to have it in case I needed it. That's been a really good decision. We live on a fraction of what we make, so it's really easy for us to save. I know it's so ingrained in our DNA that it just comes second nature. And even though we spend more money than we used to, we pay attention to how we spend money, and that has been God sent. One of the things I encourage you to consider is putting your savings into a different account, either a high-yielding money market or an insured savings account or CD, depending on your situation. Always check with a qualified advisor before investing any money. If I didn't need a lot of money, meaning I didn't have this major house we're building, I would have likely invested some of it, but I also would have kept some in cash because high interest rates have really helped those of us who have money because we've made so much more money. In fact, we have not seen these kind of rates on liquid assets in years. So there have been some benefits to higher inflation as far as higher earnings. The other thing I recommend is keeping a separate emergency reserve and not touching that unless it truly is an emergency. Those were some of the insights on saving money for last year. Another thing that was great that happened was I had a record income year. It was not only a record income year for my company, but it also was for us from a standpoint of our investments. One thing that added to this was a conference I attended. I asked a question about women and specifically about women running out of money. I really screwed up because I was just so focused on asking my question and getting it answered that I kind of forgot people in the audience. One of the things that she asked me and my response, I was so interested in my question, I didn't even really pay attention. And I just came across as being not as concerned or not as just really concerned about a situation. Instead, I just got right into my question. I know better than that. And I felt I came across, I mean, I don't know that other people felt that, but I felt I came across as not caring. I also know that a lot of the people that were at this conference do not have money. And I knew that because whenever I ask a question, I've been speaking professionally long enough to know that when you ask a question and then you get done and people won't even make eye contact with you, you've hit some nerves. And so that was a negative, but I always try to look at everything. Did I learn something? Absolutely. I also really got clear on what I needed to do. Now, I felt bad, but I learned from it, and it ended up having a huge impact on my own personal growth, my results, and my income. Before the conference, I was completely committed to helping women and their partners with money and mindset. After I asked my question, I literally had 4 or 5 women come up to me afterwards and tell me I was crazy. You should not want to work with that group. Women that need help with money and mindset are just a terrible group. And I mean, literally, one person, another, all independent. I was like, my goodness. And from the reaction to my question, it was obvious that there was some truth in it. I came back and I really, started thinking about it. And what I realized is that I just needed to shift my focus to continue offering great free content for anyone who wanted it, regardless of what situation they were in, but also to focus really more on women and couples who have money but need direction to best utilize it, which is much more my cup of tea. And the results have been mind-boggling. We had one of the best income months in my 35 years of being in business. And more importantly, I really helped a lot of people I would not have helped had I not had that experience. Now, while I have improved, one thing I wish I would have done differently, meaning in this situation, is not beat myself up. Whenever I make a mistake, I beat myself up. What I should have done, how I could have done it better. I really got through that process a lot quicker than I normally would have. So that was a good thing. We're not perfect. We've got to learn from our mistakes. And a lot of times things aren't going to go well. So that was good, bad, and the ugly of that situation. The third one was wealth accumulation. Now, like many of you who have been in the stock market the last few years, I mean, it's just been beyond our wildest dreams. We invested in stocks. I'm not recommending you invest in stocks. Most people should not invest in stocks because of the risk and volatility, but it has paid off hugely for us. Always check with a qualified advisor before investing any money. And now we're reallocating and reducing the risk in our portfolio. I'm going to give you a link to the Millionaire Advice to Family and Friends. You can go to themillionaireinsider.com/73 to access that. But I give a lot of insight there. It'll just give you some insight on what I'm thinking and what I'm doing, kind of help you from a 10,000 foot view perspective. The next thing that last year really impacted me was my anxiety increased. Specifically, it was tied to the election. Some of you guys are going to really come down hard on me. Some of you guys are going to probably go, oh, that's great. But I just want to be real honest. I am so concerned about people, namely women, and their retirement, specifically people who either have not done what they need to do for retirement. I understand a lot of people say that's their responsibility, and I agree. But I also think that there are people who really haven't been in a position to do something about it. I'm very concerned about what's going to happen with Social Security. So that has really caused me to be more anxious. Bottom line, because I'm like, maybe I could go to a hypnotist and they could just like put something on me of saying, Nat, you're going to be great. You're going to be fine. And why are you caring about all these other people? But that's just not my personality. I'm very concerned. And so I realized I could continue wallowing in the state of fear and anxiety, but it doesn't provide or produce anything positive. So what I did is I made a major decision that I am going to create my product. It's going to be called either the Money Course or the Money School, and it's going to tie into the Wealth Academy. And it's really going to help to provide the framework on what people need to do to have not only a winning millionaire mindset, but a winning millionaire game plan so they can create a secure financial future in retirement. And I am completely committed to doing that. And then the Wealth Academy will be more of like a mastermind or a membership that will support people ongoing. This may change, but that's my initial plan. And I do feel that since I've made that decision, I feel a lot more empowered and I'm not in a state of fear or worry. I'm really in a state of, okay, now my responsibility is to get the message out there to help as many women and couples that want it and need it. And that's where my energy is going to go. And I am going to make not only the next 4 years, but the rest of my life, the best years of my life. And I encourage you to do the same. Find out what you're passionate about, find out how you can make a difference, and then do it. One of the things I've learned in life, there's always an opportunity in every challenge or setback. And I've learned that early on from some of the millionaires I advise. One of the things I just recommend is that whenever you have a challenge you're faced with, regardless of what it is, that you look for the opportunities. They're always there. And just like this, I see people that have, really in a state of fear or anxiety over what's going to come down, and they're in such a state of inertia, they're not doing anything about it. I don't want that to be me. And I don't want to feel like I'm excited that I'm going to be fine and other people aren't. That doesn't make me feel better, but doing something about it does. And that's where I want you to get. All right, the next one is overworking. I love what I do, but I'm just working too much. And this is a chronic problem that I've had for a long time. I shared we had a record year, and with that came more work. It's helped me to reevaluate and get more focused on projects I really want to pursue that are my passion, and then let go of a lot of the distractions and the tasks that just simply suck my energy. I'm really committed to that and really committed to what I say yes to and what I say no to. Moving forward, I am going to hire one or two more team members, and I'm committed to completing the money course and also to guest podcasting and having more free time. All right, self-care. Now, I consistently get 7 hours of sleep each night, and I have been very consistent in my morning ritual, which includes meditation, restorative yin and kundalini yoga, chants, as well as my mile walk. One of the areas that I'm going to really focus in on is improving getting to bed earlier, ideally between 9:30 and 10. I'm going to start getting ready for bed at 9. And what's great is now that I have an Aura ring, it just kind of chimes. It tells me now's the time to start getting ready for bed. So there's no excuse. And I do know that when I get to bed earlier, I am more productive and I feel better. I feel a lot better. And so that's something that I really want to do. I also want to continue to eat really well. I have maintained my weight now for about a year and a half. I feel better than I felt in ages. I do weight training 3 times a week. I'm stronger than I've ever been. I can lift more weight than I've ever been able to lift, and I just feel great. Now that I have my Aura ring, which is kind of interesting, I don't know if any of you guys have seen an inconsistency, but I do 10,000 steps a day on my Fitbit. I'm doing like 13 to 17,000 with my Aura ring. Now, I've read reports that it is better as far as measuring different aspects, including the steps you get on your fingers, specifically the first 2 fingers, as compared to the Fitbit. I don't know if that's true or not. I was just having this discussion with my son last night as we were putting up the Christmas tree on, is it accurate or not? And he's read reports that some people don't think it is, other people do. So the verdict's still out. The bottom line is I want to continue to make self-care a priority. And I know when I do what I know I need to do, getting to bed early, getting enough sleep, drinking 50% of my body weight in ounces of water at night, it's amazing. Now, one of the things I still can improve on is eating. I do emotionally eat. I also sometimes, if I'm enjoying the taste of food, I just don't want to stop. Like I'm not even hungry and I'm still eating. So even though I've been able to maintain my ideal weight, in fact, it's even a little less than my ideal weight, I still want to continue working on that. And I find it really interesting that if I get under stress or something, it's amazing what dark chocolate or nuts or even a decaf can do. And it's not like it's a ton of calories, but what I do find is that when I'm more conscious, I'm more present, I'm rested, I'm not stressed, I'm just a lot better at the choices I make as far as food goes. So I encourage you guys to look at that too. Sleep, self-care, our diet, exercise, people we hang out with, all of those things set the tone for our day. So I encourage you to make them a priority. You're going to be so glad you did. Family time. We consistently have Sunday night dinner. or dinner out with our kids. And so it's just fun. We see them, we have an enjoyable dinner. We love sushi. We love going out to different places. It's just been fun. We have done a lot of that last year. Now, as we tighten up our budget just to prepare for the tariffs and the potential rise in costs from deportation of immigrants, we probably will dial that in a little bit because our food bill is a huge percentage of our overall spending. So again, you got to make sure that if you are doing things like that, you are living within your budget. My husband and I have been taking more getaway trips, including wine trip to Northern California, visit back east to see clients, friends, and family, as well as just gatherings with friends and dinners. And so that's been really fun. We have not spent as much time at our different homes as he would like to. And so next year, I really want to make that more of a priority. I enjoy being there. It's just I don't enjoy the process of getting there. And as I become more organized and as I dial in what I'm doing, what I'm saying yes to, and what I'm saying no to, it's going to be a lot easier. All right, I'm going to add a bonus one because this is something I'm so proud of, and that is dialing in spending. With the proposals of tariffs and immigration, I, like you, are really paying attention to where I'm spending money and what I'm saying yes to and what I'm saying no to. We went shopping on Black Friday only because I had all these gift cards for Macy's and I wanted to use them. And I'm like, probably a good day to use them because everything's on sale. Of course, I end up at the jewelry counter and oh my gosh, there was a ring that was just to die for. It was so gaudy and it was just unbelievable, but it was, I don't know, it was originally like 20,000, then down to 10,000 and they were selling it for 5,000. I said to my husband, look at me in the eye and tell me I don't need that and I'm not going to buy it. He's like, I think you should. He's the worst. He's like, get it. I go, I don't need more jewelry. I have more jewelry than anyone should have. And all I do is wear 3 pieces. He's the worst. And then even last night, he's like, are you sure you don't want to go get that ring? And there were 2 of them. One was cheaper, but I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need it. I want to say no. And I want to say we're making better choices and that I'm making choices that I want to support my insider community, my millionaire insider community, which I want you guys to make your retirement a priority and I want to make mine a priority. And if we do this together, we're all going to be better off. One of the things that I have also consistently done is to make my close friendships a priority. Now, some of my friends live far away. So if I don't see them in person, we catch up regularly on Zoom meetings. I find that to be great. I made a conscious effort probably about 10 or 15 years ago that I was going to do it. Because I think as you get older, it gets more and more difficult to keep those connections. So that's been really huge. In my opinion, the connections we have, the relationships we have are so critical to the success we have in our life. And, there's so much more about success than just money. And I know you guys get that, but hopefully this time of the year is a great time to reflect on that. Let's recap on reflections on the last year. So first of all, I want to thank Cherie D, I hope I'm saying your name right, for the great request on successes and lessons learned over the last year. Taking time to evaluate and review our life is critical to creating the life of our dreams. And scheduling time in our calendar to review the last year and the successes we want in the future is critical. I encourage you, as you do that, take some time right now and get that in your calendar so that you've got it in there. Look at your successes as well as the opportunities you have to grow. That, my friends, is critical to success. And then identify priorities and goals, and then commit to making your dreams a reality by completing the activities that are required to do that. That, my friends, is a billion-dollar nugget. So I want you to just take a minute and ask yourself, how much money did you save last year? Was it enough? How much money do you want to save next year? What's your plan to make it a reality? How much money did you earn last year? Was it enough? How much money are you committed to earning next year? Do you need to get a second job? Do you need to get promoted? You got to look at all those things. How much did your net worth increase last year? What's your goal for increase next year? Do you feel fearful, anxious, or worried in any areas of your life? What can you do to take that emotion and turn it into a positive? Now, one thing I encourage you to do is to sit in it, meaning if you feel anxious or worried, don't just push it away. Sit in it and identify it and determine what's going on. But then at some point, I want you to get to where you have a plan so that you get out of that. I can stay anxious or fearful or worried about all these people that are going to be broke in retirement, or I can do something about it. I encourage you to do the same thing. And even if you're ecstatic and you're like, oh, this is going to be the best 4 years of my life, which I also have committed that it will be, then great. You still need to create a plan so that if things get expensive, if there's not going to be enough money for your retirement, you've got that plan B. Did you spend enough time last year with your loved ones? How much time do you want to spend next year? And how will you make that a reality? These are just some starter questions. I encourage you to create your own and take a few minutes to sit down, write them out. And I encourage you to engage your family, your partner, your kids, whoever is a part of your inner circle so that you can make it become a reality. So there you have it. If you love the content of this podcast, please follow and subscribe to our channel so you get notified of episodes, and also give us a 5-star review and share a comment. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on taking another step to create a financially free life you love. If you're not sure about your financial future or that it's in order, or you are ready to stop worrying about money, or possibly the fear of becoming a bag lady, ending up broke in retirement, or you simply are ready to know your financial house is in order so that you can have a bright financial future, please go to themillionaireinsider.com/NSF. And that doesn't stand for non-sufficient funds. It stands for next step finance. It's the next best step of what you need to do so you can avoid an NSF notice in your future. Again, themillionaireinsider.com/NSF. The number of women who were not broke or poor while working or married is staggering. The entire mission of the Wealth Inside and Out podcast is to ensure you have the information for you, your family, your friends, anyone who's willing to listen to it and apply it so that you can create a financially free life you love. Again, themillionaireinsider.com/NSF. Until our next episode, take one action that will help you create a financially free life you love. I'm Annette Ba'u, your host. All international copyrights are reserved. Bye for now.